Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind podcast. In this week's show, we're going to recap the BJJ Fanatics Black Belt Invitational, the Finishers 10, and we're going to preview the Spyder Invitational, the GrappleFest 7, Fight to Win 132 in Honolulu, Hawaii, and the Grappling Idiots card happening in New York. As always in the show, I'm your host, Maine, joined with my co-host,
Josh.
How you doing, Josh?
I'm okay.
Having a rough week?
Broke my toe yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yo, we trained this morning. I didn't know that.
Dude, I don't even pay attention to them anymore. I've broken all of my toes so many times that I literally do not pay attention when I break them. I don't even tape them up. I'm just like, whatever, they'll heal in a little bit.
That's black belt status, Josh.
No, I've been doing that shit since white belt.
Jeez.
I just don't care.
So let's kick it off with a little bit of news. Tanquinho became a U.S. citizen, which is kind of big news for the current ADCC champion under 66.
I wonder what his motivation was to become a full-time...
I don't know. I didn't know he was in the process. It's interesting.
He teaches in Arizona. I guess he's trying to make that his home base. Does he still fight in the UFC?
No, I believe he fights for ACA now.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's just easier to get all these sort of flights in and out when it doesn't look super suspicious.
Oh yeah, because he's a U.S. citizen now.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, so I thought it was newsworthy for a top grappler becoming a U.S. citizen. In other news, Nicky Rod versus Luke Rockhold has been announced for Polaris 12.
The sexiest matchup in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I mean,
no-gi grappling.
I mean, we're top 5 pound for pound, Josh.
No, find me a hotter male Jiu-Jitsu matchup.
I mean, if you and Troy were to fight, we're up there.
I'm sorry, don't even lie, and I love Troy, but we are not anything special to look at. Not
Josh,
at all.
I look at you on a monthly basis here for the show. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I think I'm really ugly. Other people apparently don't think so as much. I guess that's my wife.
It's an interesting matchup. I think Rockhold's significantly smaller than Rodriguez.
Okay, now, did you just say significantly smaller? Rockhold's 6'3", 6'4", and all of 220 some odd pounds.
Yeah, and Rodriguez is 230, 235. 10, 15 pounds.
So are they punching each other?
They're not.
Okay, so all I've heard about Luke Rockhold is that his jiu-jitsu is scary.
Apparently, Buchecha says he's the only MMA guy that can tap him, or he has a really good reverse triangle game. If Buchecha's saying that a dude taps him in training,
dude, I heard he put
crazy.
it to he was sort of putting it to the Mendez brothers.
Jesus.
Apparently his jiu-jitsu is really, really, really good.
I looked up his credentials, Rockhold's credentials here. He won the Gi Worlds at Blue Belt in 2007. Mm-hmm. He won the Pans. I think he medaled. I don't know if he won. I think he won Pans or medaled at Pans at Blue Belt in 2007 in the Gi. He won No-Gi Worlds as a purple belt in 2007, and then that is where his record stops. So you have a purple belt world champion No-Gi. Again, it was 2007, so it was the second year they ran the event, but 10 plus years ago.
I would assume he's only gotten better at jiu-jitsu.
I'm super interested in this matchup. Rockhold and Rodriguez.
Oh, that's right. He also trains with Olympic caliber wrestlers.
DC, Kane, Khabib.
Is he even there still?
I don't know.
I thought he was in Florida right now with the Black Zillions or something.
Or AKA or ATT.
I thought he was at Black Zillions.
Okay, I don't recall.
But either way, he's.
I follow
also
MMA less more now. Less
I don't care about
than I used to. It's a really interesting matchup. I think I'm super excited to preview it. I'll probably honestly go back and watch more of if there's any footage of him actually competing in jiu-jitsu from that far away or back then. I doubt he's going to look the same, but I'm just curious to see him.
To have seen him compete, not in MMA, but in jiu-jitsu. So it was a while ago, but still he looked really good. It's the same thing as seeing Jake Shields compete, years ago, seeing Randy Couture compete years ago at Grapple X.
Yep.
In 2005 or something like that.
That was the event that Hobson Mora got knee barred by Jeff Glover, and he just no-sells it, and there's that picture of him. That was Grapple X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was Jacare and Couture and Jake Shields and somebody and So
back in the day. So we're getting off topic. I'm super excited about the matchup. It's really interesting. I think it'll be really fun to preview because it's Rockhold stepping back kind of into jiu-jitsu after a long time. This is the first time we've seen him. We'll have seen him since we've been doing the show.
Let's also add in that's on Polaris.
Yeah, it is Polaris.
Yeah, maybe I just...
Yeah, I said at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Because I actually asked the Polaris guys when it was like rumored, and I was like, "Is this happening?" And they went, well,
maybe
not officially yet, but it was basically one of those answers of like, there'll be an announcement if it happens." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Garry Tonon got fired from Rutgers after 6 years. There's been kind of some ongoing debate and some kind of back and forth between a lot of stuff on Instagram. I thought it was noteworthy. I actually haven't looked a ton into it or what's been going on.
I read like one thing. I didn't look too deep into it.
But I thought it was interesting, kind of newsworthy.
But it's a bummer that like all of those students don't have such a high level teacher anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it was awesome of him to offer free training to anybody that trains there. So at least there's that.
And other news, Hunter Colvin got his black belt. We've covered Hunter on Combat Jiu-Jitsu and various other, like, I think he's been on Fight to Win. He's been on a bunch of stuff. You've seen him on Brothers 8-Man. We cover him not infrequently, so I thought it was noteworthy that a guy that we cover frequently got his black belt. Azaki Behance, the interview we did with him at Fight to Win 128, world champion, is now up on our YouTube page. You can go find that there. He talks about like the end of 2019, moving into 2020, what he wants to do, and some other things regarding like the gi and no gi. It was a cool interview. Really appreciate he gave us that interview, so that is now up and finally edited. It took me a bit longer than I wanted it to. I'm going to try to get better about getting interviews that we do out at events faster.
If you want to send Maine a better computer that he can edit with, please contact Maine at grapplingrewind.com, and he would love for that great editing computer.
I appreciate it. So you got any other news?
No.
All right, let's move on to the recaps then. So we'll do a recap of the BJJ Fanatics Black Belt Invitational. This event took place on, I have the wrong
November
page up.
15th in Beverly, Massachusetts. You're
and
welcome.
It was awesome. So let's go through this. Let's go through results, and let's stop off at certain matches that we want to talk about.
It's like every single match. Look, it was great. I like when Gordon also popped in on commentary. He's very good at like pointing out move by move. Like, this is what he did. I feel he would be better if he would have done this, and he would be in a better attacking position.
Dude, he was awesome on commentary.
Oh, yeah. Great,
like,
great.
I love what his predictive commentary is. It's so good. You'd hear him, like, talk about position and, like, oh, yeah, he should beat him here, but he doesn't have the mechanics to beat him, but, like, really, he's kind of dead to rights in this position. It was like, oh, that's really nifty.
So far ahead in this current no-gi meta that he, of course, sees all of that, where he's like, oh, this is all this stuff. These are these people that I train with. Like, I know what these guys are going to do. I know what this is going to happen. And everybody's biting off of our steez. So,
but the coolest thing about it was a lot of guys do that, but get it wrong all the time. Gordon actually...
Let's talk to the under 99 kilogram and absolute ADCC champion, you know, the best no-gi competitor right now in the world.
You make an argument. You make a solid argument.
You can't who's better, no-gi?
I mean, maybe Penna, maybe Gabriel. Maybe.
That's a super fight. That was one match.
Okay.
Like, they didn't do anything like except for compete against each other. And Pena looked bad in that match.
Didn't look great. That's ADCC though.
Right, but he was not ready for that pace. Like, Galval put it on him. And we're talking about something that happened like a month ago now, like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, what's that?
So,
but I think we have one of the best guys in no-gi. Like, hate him or like him, like, hands down, one of the best guys currently competing. It was cool to hear his insight.
Currently the GOAT.
It was cool to have his insight on the mic because there was a bunch of points that he would, like, predict something, and I was like, is that really going to happen? And then the person would do it, and I was like... And it happened like 3 separate times where I was like, okay, I'm just going to take your word for this because you really...
I don't have to watch now. You're talking through it, and I know
you understand the meta. So it was good. I enjoyed him on the last time commentary. I enjoyed him in this time commentary. I honestly hope that he like continues to do more commentary.
Oh, that would be great.
Anytime, dude,
Gordon, anytime
Keenan,
you get injured, please start contacting people to do commentary. I will not pass that up. Like, you can hype yourself. You can do whatever. You can roll up in a doofy costume. I don't care. As long as you do that commentary that you do, I'll listen in.
So
anyway,
starting off with round 1, we had Kyle Boehm versus Valdir Araujo, and Kyle gets it done via inside heel hook.
Dude, Araujo is all over the place these past like 2 months. He's been in like everything.
Since Kasai. Since right before the last Kasai, we saw him. He won something big, and then he got onto Kasai and hit the match with Penna, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" He almost took Penna down immediately, and like everyone was kind of like, "This is a guy to really pay attention to." And Boehm locks his legs up and just like fights heel hooks, and eventually just like catch him. And this is one where Gordon was like walking and talking through of like, this is what's happening, this is what he's not doing, and he was brutal on the mic for some of like what Valdir was doing. He's like, oh, he's not defending it right, and I was like, Jesus, I mean, he's defending it's working, but
not right. But he got submitted.
It was interesting, and like, yeah, Boehm gets it pretty quickly here, and it kind of like Kyle Boehm.
Dude,
we'll talk about Kyle Boehm here.
Solid grappler. Yeah, we'll talk about a little bit more at the end of this, but let's keep going. Nick Rodriguez defeated Victor Silveiro in overtime via rear naked choke.
Rodriguez's late replacement was replacing Gordon because Gordon got a rib injury leading into this, and everyone was like, "Oh, I got a rib injury." Like, dude, and Gordon was like, "It's EBI rules. You're gonna have a dude in the body triangle on your back. I have injured ribs. Like, that is the worst place you could ever possibly be. I don't want to go compete like shit because I have injured ribs. It probably means like bruised or broken ribs. Versus like the Hulk and stuff with broken ribs."
And I'm also pretty sure he's probably like saving himself for that third coast match.
That'd be a good match versus Erberth.
Oh God, have you seen Erberth's post recently?
No.
Bro.
Crazy.
Bro. He was the last one I saw, he was showing off the V deep. He pulled down his shorts to be like, look how cut I am. And I was like,
so we may get full Erberth, not Herbert at all. We may get full Erberth on this one.
No. I think Gordon's going to do one thing to him that like throws him off, and he's going to go full Herbert. He's already talking about taking heel hooks out of
that was
the match. Did he not watch ADCC?
Dude, I forgot how non sequitur you get on this show.
But did he not watch ADCC? Did he not see Gordon getting on people's back and choking them? All right, then. So, anyway, Nick Rodriguez, late replacement. He did his Nick Rodriguez things.
Got the face, choke.
Yeah. Joe Baze. Am I always... Baze. Thank you. Yep. I always say Baze, and you correct me. Defeated Corey Guittard via outside heel hook.
Super quick.
Yeah. The Hulk, Lucas Barbosa, defeated Khalil Fadala via armbar. Jason Rao defeated Quentin Rosenwig via straight ankle lock.
And it was really cool because they actually did an interview with Jason after this match talking about the setup for this. And it was, he called it an Aoki lock. And it was like the Aoki variation of the straight ankle lock. It was nifty. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the little, like, I like behind the scenes interviews, which is why we do them. And it was really cool. They basically hear Rao directly after it talking about his setup and how he did it and how it was different. It was nifty. I liked it.
Mike Musatelli defeated Yosef Wanley via outside heel hook. Nick Fiore defeated Garrett Lavaggi in overtime via rear naked choke. Jonatas Gracie defeated John Combs in overtime via rear naked choke. William Tackett defeated Harry Gretsch via calf slicer. We're going to talk more about William Tackett in a little bit too.
Dude.
Yeah. Cody Steele defeated Rodrigo Alonso via rear naked choke.
There was actually a really cool video they posted as well of Cody Steele and Tackett training together.
Going at it like wild animals.
Dude, I'll watch more of those. Those are awesome.
God, I wish I was young and only did jiu-jitsu.
That was a really fun match. I was like, I would want someone to commentate this. This is awesome to watch.
Yes. Aaron Tex Johnson defeated Keith Krikorian in overtime via armbar. And man, that was a violent armbar that he cranked out.
This is honestly a really fun match. I was really impressed with Krikorian here, and like the commentary was really fun. And this was Gordon kind of being predictive and talking about stuff. And they were talking about the difference of entry that Tex was using versus Krikorian, how he's using it, and like how Krikorian was entering and what Tex was using to defend it. And then like really back and forth, lots of entries from both guys. And they talked about the Buchecha match with Keith, really cool. And then Keith gets the back, Tex escapes really quickly, and then Tex goes, I am the much bigger dude here. I'm going for the arm. And he gets, because on the back, honestly, a lot of the size is kind of negated on the back.
If you don't get that body triangle almost immediately, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, it's a bad position to be in.
So he opts for the arm here on Krikorian and just boots it out and gets the arm real tight, real quick. Krikorian does something interesting here, though. Krikorian elects to lay flat initially in the overtime. With the armbar, he doesn't actually get up like with your knees bent and your kind of heels closer to your butt to start bridging, because Tex is going to basically hook the leg immediately, and he's flat to avoid that. I mean, it doesn't really end up working for him here, but I thought it was a really interesting shift of like of thought to avoid somebody from grabbing the leg by keeping your legs flat on the mat. It was interesting. I have not seen that very often, but it was interesting that Krikorian, who's a guy that plays that rule set pretty frequently and is successful in the rule set, elected to do that versus Tex, a much bigger dude.
Maybe he's trying to figure something out and just didn't work the way he wanted it to.
Round 2.
Yes. Kyle Boehm defeated Jordan Lutsky via outside heel hook.
I'm seeing a trend here.
No, I don't think so. Lucas Barbosa defeated Nick Rod in overtime via riding time. A couple things about this. I'm pretty sure Hulk was just trying to hype up stuff with Gordon. Hulk at one point stripped completely and was in just Vale Tudo shorts and was...
The Brazilian way?
Yes. And was forcing his crotch on the back of Nick Rod's head at one point after a...
I think that's the best way to
overtime round.
kind of say it. Yep.
Yeah. But like I said, if you're big and you don't go for the body triangle almost immediately, the guy's getting out. And every time Nicky had the back, he just put in regular hooks. And you're good if you can like get that tight, high grip.
Which he gets a lot, and we see him really successful with
Right,
it.
but you don't start that way in EBI rules. Like you
Right.
start way low.
And the
with
hands
person
with the
already
hands
there.
in.
And he just wouldn't lock up a body triangle quick enough, and Hulk would just get out. And Hulk has so much more experience on people's backs in general
Yeah.
that he was able to hold Nick just completely in position to just eat up the time. And that's the other great thing about the BJJ Fanatics tournaments is you're getting paid either way. You don't have to win in regulation to start jacking up your money to
Oh,
like
actually, I didn't think about that. Where it's like you're paid to win at the end. You're not like EBI.
not paid
You don't
per
have to
submission.
win in regulation. You just have to win in the rules. Oh, I actually didn't think about that. That's really
Yes,
interesting.
That was one of the things that like they were very clear about. They mentioned it a few times.
I kind of like
I like
because
that way
you're
more than
paying
EBI.
guys where it's like, hey, here's what you're going to win if you win. Here are rules. You don't have to fight differently for a paycheck. You have to do the best jiu-jitsu you can and win within the rule set, and you get paid.
I mean, look at Wagner's run in EBI, where he didn't
Yeah.
submit anybody, but he won in
Yeah.
overtime. So I think he's like one of the best guys at the rules, but he didn't get any money
Yeah.
that we know of. Moving on. Jason Rao defeated Joey Baez via footlock. I almost said Baez again.
You almost said I was going to correct you again. This is a heel hook. Again, pretty quick as well. Rao's real dangerous. He's my Matt Serra guy training up there in New York.
Gordon was talking so highly about him.
Yeah.
As like one of the front runners to win the entire tournament. So
And how big is Rao?
Rao's like a decent. I thought he was.
70er? Or is he bigger than that?
Didn't he compete in like the Kasai tournament or something else?
Yeah.
At like 205 pounds.
Okay, maybe that's what he's like super long and lanky, so I can never get a
Looks
good.
like Lee.
Yeah, he does.
Like you wouldn't know how much Lee weighs unless he told.
Yeah, he's
you.
got like a body style of like I just can't like. He's one of the few guys. I'm usually really good about
How
guessing
much
that
do you
weight.
think he weighs?
I just told you. Like I was like Lee.
Yeah.
I know how much Lee weighs.
How much does Lee weigh?
210.
No, he doesn't.
Well, when he's fatter, when he's not.
No, like right now he's like 202, 205.
Okay, yeah,
like,
205.
fucking shredded up.
Yeah.
It was hilarious when he had to go
Lee
to
is our
185.
coach.
Yes.
Yeah, Lee is the gentleman that Josh was awarded his
Non
black belt
sequitur.
from.
Johnatha
Gracie.
Thank you. Defeated Mike Musatelli via arm and guillotine. William Tackett defeated Nick Fiore in overtime by rear naked choke. Cody Steele defeated Lucas Willen in overtime, rear naked choke. Aaron Tex Johnson defeated William Vincent via straight ankle lock.
Don't let Tex grab your foot.
Ooh, frightening.
Like, dude, every time Tex grabs an ankle lock, I just think of the Matt Layton match at Subspectrum, where he just like runs across the mat, grabs Matt Layton's foot, and just bends. And I was like, dear God, he's gonna break his shin bone in half. And
Yeah.
that's every time I see Tex grab a straight ankle lock. That's in the Thor match at ADCC, where he just grabs and just you're like, dude, he grabs your foot in a scary kind of way.
And he's like bald and all super muscly.
He doesn't have the
and
long hair anymore. He cut all that off.
He looks frightening. He looks like he's gotten larger, like muscularly.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. Jessere Childre defeated Lucas Valet via footlock. That was a super quick match. They were like, "Oh, we're going to do
Childre
this.
is really good in the rule set too.
We're going to do this." And then after that, we're going to go, "Oh, okay, the match is over now. I guess we're going to break now." That's what I would say is like my main complaint, if you will, about the BJJ Fanatics tournament was those like breaks. I didn't mind them, but it was just kind of like a static image.
We talked about this before. It's like if there's a break, like I kind of want something, either like a commentator, like I want to fill piece.
And they filled some of it, like when they had Raffle and the mic sometimes, just
just kind of
freestyling it and shooting the breeze with everybody. That was great, but just having like a static image kind of just throws it off.
Yeah,
and them getting in like more of a groove of what they're doing. Right, they put out great DVDs. And it's like they've run. There we go. I can't talk today. They've run one tournament. Have they run more than one tournament?
They've run one. Like we covered the last one. That was my understanding.
The brown belt one.
Correct.
I thought they did something else.
That was my understanding. That's the first one that we've covered. They may have run one previously to that I'm unaware of.
I can't remember.
But that was like the big showcase one that like kind of the new format of what they were doing.
Yeah, and that ran really well. There we go. This one ran really well.
The little breaks. We always talk about any event that has little breaks.
The breaks slowed it down because at what, like, it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. It was still going.
It was later. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in bed watching the finals.
Yeah. But that's besides the point. Everything else was fine. Let's get into the quarterfinals. Kyle Boehm defeated Jason Rao in overtime.
First one, he doesn't get a heel hook.
Yeah. Via riding time. Cody Steele, the dude is a monster. He defeated Jonatas Gracie in overtime via rear naked choke. Hulk beat Jessere Childre by head and arm choke, a.k.a. Katagatame.
Katagatame, which is like the most... I love... That's like a dope-ass name.
Right.
For Katagatame. That's what BJJ Heroes listed as all times. Like, I had to like always have to like Google like, what do they mean? Okay, it's head and arm choke.
Yeah,
okay.
Arm triangle, whatever you want to call it.
Because I know Katagatame, I think of Keisakatame choke, which is like what Barnett hit Lister with.
It's a little
chest
different.
crush.
Right.
But like whenever I see that, for some reason, that's where my mind goes. And so it's like, oh, they mean
right.
head and arm choke.
Where was it? Oh, yes. Tex Johnson defeated William Tackett in overtime via armbar. Pretty much like almost the same kind of armbar where he just yanked it out.
Similar to the Krikorian one.
Yeah,
that's a size differential there.
I was segueing to that. What we will talk about is Tex Johnson punching William Tackett. Okay, so we were discussing this, and yes, we thought he punched him. Like, we don't think that he didn't. Or here, I should stop saying we. This is my Josh's personal opinion. But I don't think he did it out of like malice or like, oh, you're kind of one up on me, I'm going to punch you. I think it's just like...
Tex fought for a while.
Yeah, he fought, and I think it was just like a reflex. And you could see like...
Immediately he kind of goes, oh, shit.
Immediately he was like, I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry. Like, and Tackett just literally took it on the chin, or... He didn't literally take it in the chin. He punched him in the eye. But Tackett was like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, fuck, this kid is wild.
Yeah, he's good.
Dude, you just got slugged. And not like full cocked. It was like a tiny little check hook. And, Tex was apologizing. And, it was discussed about, of course, on the internet. And then something was released in the lines of, it should have been a DQ, but it's left up to the referees. And he's guessing that the referee didn't, see it or just didn't know what to do. They kept going. It was what it was. I mean, this whole tournament could have gone differently had it
been Tackett.
Had Tackett won by DQ. Who knows?
Well, so let's talk. That happened. Let's talk about the technical pieces of this match.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
How fucking good did Tackett look?
So we know Tex is good, too. He's dangerous.
He tapped Penna. He's tapped
dangerous.
He's tapped
a
bunch of
lot
dudes.
of guys.
Yeah,
he really put some work on Muhammad Ali at Worlds.
Yes,
and like reversed a terrible position. I thought he was going to finish that calf slicer, and just like I don't know if he just like burnt out or just didn't feel he could finish it, and then Ali beat him.
Yeah, we've seen Tex go neck and neck with a lot of really good. He beat Thor in ADCC. Like
I've seen him go
quickly.
ham just in general.
Yeah,
William Tackett was all
his ability to enter
guns
the legs,
a-blazing.
to pass,
Everywhere.
to get around, like
in the mount, like
how
he was
active he
everywhere.
stayed, and like how positionally, like I want to say like positionally dominant, but like in a lot of places positionally dominant.
If you scored that match, he would have won by points.
Oh yeah, easily.
Like the kid is really good. Just overtime.
Yeah, and again, in Texas, probably 30, 40 pounds bigger. Like Tackett's a bit like, getting bigger, definitely. Like since we started
Texas
covering
just
him,
big in general.
yeah,
So,
and
like,
he's also way strong for how big he is in the
and
first
he's
place.
way bigger than Tackett.
Yeah.
So he got into that position and just kind of yanked the arm and called it a day.
It was funny. So there's a guy that messaged us and was like, "Yeah, I listened to the show for like up and coming guys, and like specifically like when you guys talk about Tackett, so I can figure out when I can watch him compete." I was like, "Sweet." So we're covering
Nice.
Tackett again. It makes me laugh.
Helping out.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the semifinals. Lucas Barbosa defeated Cody Steele via straight arm lock.
Really quick too, Barbosa. So Steele like comes out aggressive and like lifts Barbosa. I was like, "Oh, this could be an interesting match," because Barbosa's looked pretty good until this match. Lifts him up and like does a mat return to him, and then Barbosa like veteran reverses his hips midair, lands, gets into like kind of like a mounted position, and finishes a straight arm lock off the top, like 30 seconds,
Dude,
20 seconds, really quick. I was like, whoa, Barbosa is a veteran for that.
And the other semifinal match was Kyle Boehm defeating Aaron Tex Johnson in overtime via rear naked choke. I would say it was more kind of face crushy. Ish. Am I thinking of a different match possibly? Like
You're looking at me. I'm like, I think that's now. I'm going to second guess myself. Guess it done be a
sometimes
choke.
I even forget like
Well,
how much
you say it so confidently. I'm just like, yeah, and then in my head it
not
makes
even
the
that.
memory.
I'm more so talking like the amount of stuff that you start to consume when you're covering this stuff. And I actually did, something more on the episode for this week.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than just being like, hey, you guys messed this up and you should fix this and you look like idiots on the video. This time Maine was like, hey, because I keep talking about him, but I finally gotten down to like what I am writing for an article for the website. Hopefully it's good. I'm going to do what I did with what I did this week with Maine and just have him read it as I type it out and make little like adjustments or add little notes. But I made like a preview and I was like, fuck, this is a lot of work. And then I go, Maine does like 50 times more than this. Man, his life sucks. In a sense of like the work that he has to do.
I'm very tired most of the time.
Yes. Anyway, finals. Kyle Boehm versus Lucas Barbosa, and Boehm beats him in overtime via riding time.
Dude, Barbosa looked super dominant in the regulation of this match. Like, looked good, but like...
Boehm knows the rules.
So
he knows
well.
how to work them.
Kyle Boehm.
Let's talk about this, too. We were talking about this before we started recording. Kyle Boehm, if he got paid... Was the brown belt won $10,000?
I think it was 10 grand. I think it was 10 grand.
So he won $10,000 as a brown belt 2 months ago.
September 6th for BJJ Fanatics Brown Belt Invitational.
Then that was purple brown, wasn't it?
It was brown belt and below is what it was listed as.
So now he's in the black belt one as a black belt, and he wins another 10 grand. He made $20,000 in 2 months. Some people were like, "Yeah, I do that. Not a big deal." Some people make
grapplers,
not grapplers.
I don't make.
So
that,
we were trying to figure this stuff out, and we realized that Kyle Boehm made about half of the entire payout of each World Championships first place winner, like
for the men's.
Like it's because of the different sizes how much you get paid out, but we just rounded out.
No, it's based on how many people are in your division for Worlds.
Yeah, that's what I meant. We just rounded it to a nice $5,000. I think it's more if
you have 33 people in your division, it is up to $7,000-ish.
And I think the
and
absolute
no division
is 10 grand.
It
might be. We could look this up.
No, we're
but
not
I'm
going
not
to,
going
Josh.
to.
It's not our way.
Yeah, we're just gonna go off of it.
Kyle Boehm, knowing EBI rules, didn't matter that Barbosa was like, positionally dominant, looking good. He gets it done via OT in riding time.
You beat Hulk.
And Gordon talked about this in the lead up. He goes, man, Boehm is really good. He goes, I don't think Boehm beats a guy like Barbosa in any other rule set, but in this rule set, Boehm is really dangerous and really good. And like Gordon, this is why I love Gordon, because I was like, oh man, you knew like ahead of time that he was the guy to watch.
Ahead of time.
Yeah.
But the dude made $20,000 in 2 months. Every single world champion this year in the men's division combined was $50,000. And yes, I'm aware it's not exactly half, but I'm rounding
But
for
math
this.
is not my strong suit, Josh.
Nothing is my strong suit. So yeah, the dude's doing pretty well for himself. I think technically he now has 2 DVD contracts.
He should. Oh yeah. So they got a bunch of other DVD contracts that are coming out of this, and I'm always really excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Kyle Boehm's next DVD should be like Kyle
How
Boehm.
to win EBI style tournaments.
Yeah,
I'd watch that DVD.
How to get paid winning jiu-jitsu. And it's not gonna be points because
This is such a great time for jiu-jitsu. Like dude, people are making money.
it's awesome. Like, and honestly, even like when we started the show a couple years ago, like there were not as many events that were like paying out. Like you were like a headliner here, maybe getting paid, and now it's like we cover guys getting paid $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, like a couple times a month.
We're going to be talking about people making $100,000
On
next
Spyder.
week.
Yeah,
$100,000
in jiu-jitsu.
Who pays that out? Does UA? I think you have to win your division and the absolute in UAE-JJF, like the main one in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, world champion.
I think you have to win your division and the absolute division to make, if not that much, close to that.
We live in some fun times for jiu-jitsu, Josh.
Dude.
So this is a great event. It's on Flow Grappling. All the matches are actually up individually now, as well as the entire broadcast. Highly recommend you go back and watch basically as many of these matches as you can.
Watch all the matches.
Like they were.
You can skip through them.
They were a lot of fun. Like a lot of them were really short. Like the matches, the footage all starts at they go. I think there's a couple of them that are cut a little funny that are missing like a minute or two. I think one of the Barbosa matches is missing a couple minutes, but like a lot of fun. You can go back and watch all the matches. It was great. I cannot wait for these guys to run another event. I'm going to the next one. Like I was almost going to go to this one.
Let's be real here. This is a company partially run by arguably one of the nicest dudes in jiu-jitsu.
Bernardo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. That's right. You met him. Duh.
Yeah. We did an interview with him at ADCC.
I would let him read me a book. Like just him sitting on a big chair and I'm sitting on the rug next to a fire looking at him. And he's just like, chapter 1. And I'm like, I love you, Bernardo.
So we got some stuff we're working on with BJJ Fanatics in the future.
That'd be, yeah. So we definitely want to get into this. Yeah, I'm just stoked for this. The payouts are good. Them giving people contracts off of it. That's amazing.
Paying guys out to do
paying guys
jiu-jitsu.
And getting guys paid via I don't know how their DVD contracts work, so I'm just again talking out of my ass. But maybe they get a cut out of it, and they're slowly becoming like the biggest company that's putting out instructionals. Awesome.
And enough big guys go and use them. I would assume that they're compensating the guys pretty well. So that does it for the BJJ Fanatics Black Belt Grand Prix. It was black belts with other belts too, but the Grand Prix, a lot of fun. Definitely go back and watch.
Well, technically, it was listed as the submission only Grand Prix. It wasn't even like the black belt technically. Technically.
So on to a recap of the Finishers Sub Only 10. This was the Finishers 10th event. They ran the amateur version of this the morning before, or sorry, the morning of the event.
Earlier in the morning.
Finisher. Man, that was a weird way to say that.
Early in the day.
So where do you want to start with this one? There's a bunch of undercard fights. There's main card fights. There's a bunch of...
Let's talk about the tournament, and then...
So they ran a 185-pound tournament here for the men, and they ran a 105-pound tournament for the women.
Yes, they did. You were trying to segue it, and you did not do a good job of that.
That was not a good job, Josh.
Chris Shangoli from...
Shangoli.
Oh, there's an H. Sorry.
I got you, Josh.
My bad. 10th Planet, Long Island. I don't know why I'm reading all of these things. Versus Enrique Galarza.
Hey, by the way, shout out to Laura Kent for basically giving us the best write-up for results of this event. We really appreciate that. It's on My MMA News. You can go through and actually pull through all the results. Shows does a great job for all the finishers, and we really appreciate her write-ups for these.
Anyway, I've lost my train of thought. Corey Nasworth versus Alan Sanchez, and Sanchez won via guillotine and regulation. Zach Edwards versus Steve Barre. Okay. Ooh, I was close the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Edwards won by intimidation.
Barre did not show.
I like that they put that there. That's kind of funny. Nick Ronan versus...
Christian...
Sorry, no, I was thinking Nick Ronan was on the Fanatics
Jason
card
Rao.
too. And I just
You do the same thing with Jason Rao and him?
What the hell?
I always mix him and Jason
He was
Rao.
in something else too just recently, and I'm already mishmashing them. Anyway, Christian Banghart. Okay. Ronan won via rear naked choke in regulation. Evan Leve defeated Michael Carpenter via heel hook in regulation. Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
Evan Leve impressed me. Like he's Amanda. He's Amanda Leve's
There it is.
brother. Amanda Leve, ADCC. We've covered Amanda a bunch of times for a bunch of different things she's been on. We covered Evan occasionally, but this event, man, he really surprised me.
And he looked
He looked
good.
way better than the last time we saw him. So I was super
Real
impressed
good.
with how he looked, and he'll come up later in the tournament here.
Renee Souza versus Chiatakos Konstantinos. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'm not good at reading Greek names. Souza won via rear naked choke in overtime. And Corey Guittard defeated Dominic Tabita via rear naked choke in overtime. And Stanley Rosa defeated Michael Lugo via heel hook in regulation.
On to the want to start with 85 or go to 105?
Let's do the pigtail matches for 105. They essentially had people fight into...
Yeah, because they didn't have a 16
tournament.
woman bracket, so they had they called those pigtail matches.
That's what they're called.
Oh, really?
Or piggyback matches, whatever you want to call them.
I've never heard them called that. I don't know why.
You don't wrestle.
No, I do not.
Christine Cruz versus Lauren Strausser, and Cruz won by escape in overtime, like best escape time. Sorry, that was a terrible way of saying it. Betty Wong versus Haley McDevitt, and Wong won by Kimura in regulation. And if I'm saying your name wrong again, apologize. You want to keep going? You're going to let me just go stagnant? You know I'm a little
on to
rusty
the
over here.
185-pound quarterfinal tournament matches for the 85ers.
Alan Sanchez defeated Enrique Galarza by rear naked choke in overtime. Nick Ronan defeated Zach Edwards via rear naked choke in overtime.
Seeing a trend here.
Yep, trendy. Evan Leve defeated Renee Souza by rear naked choke in overtime. And Stanley Rosa defeated Corey Guittard by straight ankle lock in regulation.
105-pound tournament quarterfinal matches.
I'm just glad somebody won in regulation. Alrighty. Christine Cruz versus Christina Pinto, and Pinto won by rear naked choke in overtime.
See a trend here.
Man, I've got my feelings about these overtime rules. But whatever.
We'll talk about it at the end.
Linda Mihalik, you should come on. You know these people.
I do, but it's fun to watch you read the name. Watch you come on cold after a couple weeks and read the names.
You're so rude. Mihalik defeated Gabby Etzel via rear naked choke in overtime. Betty Wong versus Grace Gundrum, and Grace Gundrum won by guillotine choke.
Regulation.
Tiny terror, that one. I swear she looks like she's still 12 years old.
I can never. She's 17 now, by the way.
Wild.
Crazy. We've been covering her since we've done the show, and then she's been on events
Before that.
I remember her.
So 2 years ago, that puts her at 15, and then probably 3 years before that.
At EBI.
Yeah.
I remember her EBI
5
matches.
years ago?
Yeah.
She was 12. Great. Rawana De Silva defeated Kate Gondales via rear naked choke in regulation.
185-pound tournament semifinals matches.
Are we skipping the super fights and then...
Yeah, we'll do it at the end.
Okay. Man. Alan Sanchez defeated Nick Ronan via escape time and overtime. And Evan Leve defeated Stanley Rosa by escape time and overtime.
This was a heel hooky leg entry kind of match, and I was super impressed with Evan here and how he entered. And again, Stanley's defense was really good in a lot of these places, but the way Evan was entering underneath, with split entries, and he's a bigger dude, and 85er, and so it was really cool to see him dropping under, and just the way he was entering was really dynamic for a dude of that size. I was a fan. 105-pound tournament semifinals matches.
Christina Pinto defeated Linda Mihalik by guillotine choke in regulation, and Grace Gundrum defeated Rawana De Silva by armbar from the triangle in regulation. My brain is not working today.
It's only 10:30 right now at night.
I know.
So 185-pound tournament finals. We had Alan Sanchez versus Evan Leve.
Leve looked good, but Sanchez was just like a beat ahead, and he got to the back. And once he got there, it was like...
He held the back really well. He got that body triangle in.
Then he locked up the body triangle and really got the finish. But again, Leve like really impressed this tournament. Looking forward to seeing him a whole lot more. Alan Sanchez as well, just like putting in that time.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to get the back and able to control really, really well. We saw Evan be really dynamic through most of the matches he had, and so it's really cool to see. I mean, we've covered Sanchez before. I forget what it was on, but
A couple of times.
Yeah, a couple times at this point. So it's cool to see him getting the win.
Was he on one of the EBI teams for Quintet?
I
Or
don't.
no?
But I forget what it was. I can look through our notes and figure out why we've covered him, but yeah, looked good. Took the back, got the choke in. On to the 105-pound tournament finals for the ladies.
Grace Gundrum defeated Christina Pinto via guillotine choke in regulation.
This is like a power guillotine finish, dude.
High elbow, like Marcelo style, just coming in and like stomping over the shoulders.
And she had Pinto in the darce for like a good minute
like
in the match, and I was like super impressed because like Pinto's head was like sideways on her chest for a good portion of that, and I was like, yo, this hurts my neck to watch.
It did not look comfy. She also got promoted to brown belt after she won the tournament.
Yeah, Grace won and got her brown belt, and it's cool because it's actually in the footage for the actual event. You can go see it on YouTube. She wins, and then so Zach hands her thing for winning, and then JM, her other coach, JM Holland, walks up with the brown belt. She goes like, "Oh," and she gets the belt, and it's really kind of a really cute moment.
She smiled for like 3 seconds and then went back to being emotionless.
Pretty much.
She was like, "Hey, I got this." Okay.
So super exciting. So let's talk about a couple of the other super fights. Main event super fight. Where do you want to start with this one?
Let's talk about Zach Green and JM Holland first. JM always puts on a hell of a match, but sometimes it's just like
he's another guy we cover for. He's on most of his finishers. He's been on EDI before. He's on Combat Jiu-Jitsu before. Like he's always super exciting and dynamic.
And you think he'd be like, I'm not saying this in a disparaging way, like super solid in the overtime rounds. But it seems like he also gets caught in the overtime rounds.
Yeah.
You can't seem to get him in regulation, but somehow like somebody sneaks something in like a reverse triangle. And, so Zach Green defeated JM Holland via reverse triangle in overtime. Do you want to go to the next one?
Kevin Burbrich versus Andrew Cockle.
Burbrick. Yeah, take that, Maine. Burbrich.
Wait, what's the correct word?
Burbrick.
Burbrick.
Yeah.
I said something stupid?
Burbrich.
Oh, my bad. Okay. It's not like we haven't covered the guy a bunch on the show before.
No.
Jesus.
At least you didn't say Koschel.
No, that was only like a year and a half of messing up Andrew's last name.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and I think Zach Edwards actually told us like, hey, his name is actually like a rooster, like cockle, not like you've been pronouncing it for the last year. And I was like, oh, cool.
Thanks.
That's great.
Burbrick won via rear naked choke in overtime. They both were like just hitting entries, just going for positions, trying to fight for the finish.
Which is why these guys are main eventing the finishers.
The
like
super fight
both
matches,
of these dudes come and like bring action and aren't looking to like stall their way to victory. So it's like really exciting match, way back and forth. I think it was the second overtime.
Yes.
He gets him in. Yeah, he gets him in rear naked choke in the second overtime, gets it done. So dude, a lot of fun. The event's up on YouTube. It's like 5 hours. Jay Regabudo's commentating with Raf and like. Good team. I love hearing Regabudo on the mic. Like that dude is.
Can't pass it up. I love listening back to my matches where he's like, Weinstock not really doing anything, and I'm like, yeah.
On the fight to win matches.
You tell it how it is, Jay. Tell him that I'm not doing anything because by God I'm not.
Yeah. So these guys put on a great
Jay's
event.
Great dude.
Yeah. Put on a great event. Do you want to run through some of the other matches that were on the card as well? We're trying to make a better effort on the show to do that. When we do have results for more events, we kind of tend to kind of omit the undercard on a lot of the shows. We're trying to kind of talk about more of them because I want to talk about more jiu-jitsu. And, and I enjoy doing it, just like being able to showcase like more matches.
If you listen to it or not, like if you're small, like you're not big time, or you're a young kid and more than one media outlet has said your name. So you hear it on, like, let's say Flow Grappling or whatever, and then you hear a bunch of idiots butcher your name, but you're like, hey, I'm 12. Listen to these guys talk about me. That's pretty exciting. Even just getting them out, and we can start hearing the names as well.
It's more for me, honestly, because me saying the name and hearing it a bunch of times when
like,
when
oh,
people
yes,
are on
we know
main
that
cards and like undercards, like it lets me and it keys me into, okay, I'm going to watch this guy in 6 months or 2 years on the main card, and he's someone to look out for. So moving on to the super fight, we had Devin Vogel defeating
You just went to the regular tournament super fight.
Yeah, we're going up the line now.
I thought you were going to the ones in the undercard.
Devin Vogel defeated Julian
Julio. Go on.
No.
Go on.
Richie Ez via heel hook and regulation. Man, I'm not the name guy, Josh. We've talked about this numerous times.
Let's run through this really quick for our undercard super fights. Liam Krellinston, who I'm assuming is Ethan Krellinston's brother.
You are correct in that, yes.
Hey. Was defeated by Justin Pack via escape time and overtime. Raul Audho? I guess so. Versus Jeff Napoli and Audho via heel hook and regulation. Don't look at me like that, Maine. I can see you out of the corner of my eyes.
Chloe Tomlinson versus Victoria Weaver. Tomlinson takes it via armbar in overtime. Grant Kitcher via Elias Garcia. Garcia takes it via escape in overtime. Chelsea Mappa versus Maya Diaz. Mappa takes it in heel hook via regulation. Kyle Myers versus Art Garcia. Garcia takes it by mounted triangle and regulation. John Lyons versus Chris Hurl. Lyons takes it via heel hook and regulation. Adam Fritz versus George Strunk. Fritz takes it via heel hook and regulation. Francis St. Amor versus Rashid Perez. Amor takes it by escape time and overtime. Wes Levine versus Sergio Villas. Villas takes it in escape time and overtime. Cheryl Rock versus Catherine Egan. Rock takes it by escape in overtime. John Vina versus Chris Crawford. Chris Crawford takes it by heel hook and regulation. Jack Stapleton versus Kevin Dantzler. Dantzler wins via rear naked choke in regulation. Mike Sanchez versus Eric Naples. Sanchez takes it by rear naked choke in overtime. This is a fun match. These guys go back and forth.
We see Eric all the time in this area.
Yeah, he's on like every super fight in this area. He's always super dynamic. D-Boy Mazington versus David Garcia. Garcia takes it via heel hook in regulation.
How many times do you think John Vina's friends have made John Cena jokes at him?
All of the times, Josh.
Because if they haven't, I'd like to be the first one. John Cena.
So that does it for a recap of Finisher Sub 10. The whole event is up on YouTube, has commentary. The results here.
5:45, 5 hours,
something
45
like
minutes.
that. Yeah, it's right around. I think it's right around 5 hours.
And you can jump through it. Really easy, real fun.
I'm honestly hoping to put timestamps up in there with a comment. We'll see if I do it or not. But I would like to go and do that. So that does it on the next one. So moving on to the preview section, let's kick it off with with the first event happening this next weekend, the 2019 Spyder Invitational Championship Final. Taking
Friday, 10 p.m.
November 22nd.
That's Eastern time, by the way.
Yeah, it's taking place in Seoul, Korea, and it has the most stacked lineup.
This is so good.
Crazy.
So good, this tournament. I am so excited. Like, it's wild. In under 76, there's not even like a throwaway match.
No.
Like, none of the matches are throwaway matches.
All the dudes are top level, like world level competitive black belts that are like in the running to take a world title at any given year.
Yeah.
First matchup, we have
Jamil Hill. I never know what to call him.
Shane Jamil Hill-Taylor.
I know that's his whole name, but
is it Shane Haler? Is it Jamil? Is it
normally like
Hill?
Even on Instagram it's under Jamil Hill.
Right.
So does he want to go by that?
We should go by Shane.
We should ask.
I should honestly ask him because he's in the area. Like, hey, what would you prefer?
Anyway, we'll go with Jamil Hill for right now. Takes on Johnatha Alves. Super stoked on that match. Edwin Najmi versus Matheus Gabriel. Another flame hot fire match. Gabriel Arges versus Levi Jones, Leary, whatever it's listed as Levi Jones. Stokered on that one. And then you have Matheus Lutes. You know Emil is stoked about that.
Yeah, dude. He's like one of his favorite competitors. Whenever Matheus is on, he's like, yeah, I get to cover Matheus again. He
is versus Inseong Jang.
Yeah, top level Korean black belt.
I think I said that right.
I believe you did as well.
And wait, there's more.
Let's talk about that. Let's speculate. We'll speculate in a minute. Let's talk about who's in the under 100 kilogram division, and then let's make our speculations.
Okay. I was getting really excited. I was like, I can't burst.
Under 100 kilogram division.
Every single person in this division is super explosive, except for Leandro Lowe, in the sense of once he gets into a position, he's just going to hang out. But when he starts off, he's explosive.
I just thought about that. You're right. Every single dude in here is just like...
Well, no, I could also say that about Calasans. Calasans is like, he's got great judo, he's got great wrestling. He plays a lot from guard.
Yeah, he's primarily a guard player. So,
but again, everybody in a majority of their game is explosive. So that's besides the point.
First
match, Tim Spriggs pulled the short straw on this one. This is going to be a rough match. Tim is a rough and tough competitor.
Oh, yeah.
But holy shit, you got to take on Nicholas Meregali. First round.
In the gi.
Like, you want to get by, you want to make that cash, you got to beat Nicholas Meregali.
I mean, you have to beat him anyway.
Psychopath.
Yeah, he is.
He is a psychopath when he competes.
He
It's
is.
frightening. The way he just, like, kind of stalks and does this weird, like, you know when cats are about to pounce?
Yeah.
And they do that little, like, shoulder thing? He does that, and it's really creepy.
But he also, like, his face, he looks
He's
like...
dead to the world? He has no soul?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love it.
Yes, I know.
I love it. He just, like, looks like, I wouldn't want to fight him. I mean, I would want to fight him, but, like...
Oh, I'd love to, and then get destroyed.
But he would clock choke me in, like,
He would do
27
whatever.
seconds.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. So, that's a crazy matchup. Next matchup in this bracket...
Claudio Calasans versus Erberth Santos. I made an anime reference in the little preview notes that I sent over to Maine, and then I left a little thing in it explaining the reference, and then just telling Maine to F off.
I appreciated that. So they're on the same side of the bracket, by the way.
Your girlfriend will know what I'm talking about.
Next match, we have Kenan Duarte, the 80cc plus 99 kilogram champion, versus
Kenan Duarte in the gi, world champion.
Oh yeah, world
beat
champion.
Whom? Who beat whom at the World Championships? Leandro Lowe?
Yeah, okay. I thought it was a trick question, Josh. I was
No.
like, he beat a lot of guys.
He beat Leandro
He
Lowe,
did
if
beat
I'm not
Leandro Lowe.
mistaken, either in the semis or the finals.
Semis, I think. I don't remember.
So much grappling. We got to talk about this at the end of the year, like our favorite matches.
Yeah. Also, we have Rodolfo Vieira
So excited about this.
versus Anderson Muniz.
So excited.
Dude, Rodolfo has competed
About-
one time in the gi in the last 5 years, and it was black belt CBD in 2018. We're going to see him again
Dude,
come
I'm
out of
stoked.
like retirement. Now he's in the UFC now.
I want to see him versus Lowe or Duarte. I want to see him. I honestly want to see him against. Wait, did he compete against Spriggs before?
I don't recall.
Oh,
he hasn't
no, I
competed in the
can't
gi in a
remember.
long time.
It's been a
so,
while.
do you want to speculate on the under 100 kilograms?
Oh, I want to
division?
speculate on all of it, but I
Where do you
want
want
to
to
hear.
start?
I want to hear what you think. Yeah, he beat. So it was in the finals
Okay.
that Lowe lost to Kanan. Thanks, IBJJF. Speculation? Oh, where do
So
we
let's start speculating on the under 76 kilogram division here. So on the one side of the bracket, we have Alves and Taylor in the first match, and we have Najmi and Gabriel. On the other side of the bracket, we have Gabriel, Levi, and then we have Lutes and Inseong Jang.
Okay, so Johnatha just got promoted.
Yeah.
After winning Brown Belt Worlds.
Hasn't he beaten Shane before at Spyder?
Wasn't that the last time? Like, wasn't that thing that he was talking about? Yeah, he talked about it. When
I
he did
think
that
it was
seminar
Shane.
at Greg's.
Okay.
And Shane was like, they scored it wrong, actually, and it was technically supposed to be me, but I didn't really fight about it. So they're going to run it back. It'll be interesting to see, like, Shane's...
Dude, Shane, I love hearing him talk because
Dude.
he gave a seminar. He's one of the coolest seminars and one of the coolest roles I've ever had. I heard him back backstage Fight to Win talking to Malachi. And they were talking about the changes to the 2019 IBJJF, 2018 or 2019 IBJJF rulebook. And specifically, he was going through how the point scoring had changed for a certain position and how you had to establish
Greg and I talk about that like almost all the time.
It was crazy
because we
to
pick
hear
apart
him
at his game where he talks about where he used to do this thing where he would rock up and then come back down and get an ad. And now you can't do that. You have to come up top.
Intent to pass, yeah.
Yeah, or intent to sweep.
Intent to sweep. Yeah, but no, it was something. It was different. It was a different item.
Oh,
It wasn't
so
that,
he did
wasn't that
something else,
section, but it was something else.
okay, he was
But
talking two
hearing
different
him
times.
break it down and like know the section of the rule, it's like Shane knows the rules so well, and it's really cool to see him. And Alves is this up and coming new, and Shane's pretty young too. I want to say Shane's only like 23 or 24.
He's not very old.
No, and Alves is again similar 22.
I've
think.
seen him compete since he was like a young teenager.
Shane?
Like in the local area.
Yeah, because he's been killing it forever.
Killing dudes.
In like, welcome to DC, baby.
Yeah. Najmi versus Gabriel. Najmi's heavier competition-wise weight class.
Yeah.
But Gabriel's coming off of like being awesome.
And looking phenomenal recently.
Yeah.
Versus Kennedy. He broke Kennedy's arm, didn't he? Was that Matheus Gabriel?
Yes. And he just won Worlds and he beat
Yeah.
Marcio Andre. Thanks for leaving this up, Josh. You're welcome.
So I think he's really hard to get by.
I'm gonna give that to Gabriel. Najmi, if he goes off, if he
It
fires
is
off
Najmi
quick,
and the gi though, and Najmi's
but
looked
if he
better in the
fires
gi.
off quick and like launches something that's like a flying attack,
You mean
and
like
just
last
catches
weekend
him-
with a flying triangle?
right? But if he's like quick and Gabriel doesn't just like get to his butt quick enough, there's a possibility of that happening. But I foresee Gabriel taking that one. On to the other side with Arges and Jones. Jones's game is frustrating. You can't pass
Yeah.
his guard.
No, he's gonna sit. He's gonna sit, and he got DQ'd at Worlds for basically like him and his opponent refusing to stand. So it's like you know what he's gonna do. He's gonna sit. He's gonna pull, and good luck getting past his guard.
Yeah.
Is really what it is. And like basically, can Gabriel Arges get past his guard? And he may be able to, but I think it's a really tough uphill battle there.
I don't know.
I think you think it's one on like ads or sweeps. You
I
think
mean,
it's one on
Arges
decision?
it's not like he's a slouch either.
Oh, God,
I mean,
no.
he's this year's middleweight world champion.
weight class heavier than Levi, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
but still, like the dude is solid. I think Jones is going to stifle him, but it's going to be a good match. And then we have Matheus Lutes and Inseong Jang.
Inseong Jang.
Inseong in the membrane. I'm an idiot. Inseong Jang.
I think this is going to be Lutes' one of his first matches we've covered him for black belt. He's black belt now, isn't he?
Did he get promoted?
I think so, but I don't know.
wow.
I think the last match we saw him was versus Valderujo was either Jitskin or Kasai when he was in that deep heel hook and he just gutted it out. That was the last time I think we covered him on the show, but I could be incorrect.
He
about
wasn't
that.
at ADCC, right?
Nope, he was not. There were other Matheuses there, but it was not him. I didn't see him at ADCC even.
Who was the guy that Gordon beat that said he was like one of the haters, the internet trolls?
I think Gordon beat Pedro.
Pedro Mourinho. That's
Yeah.
the guy. I was way off.
Different weight class.
Yes. All I'm seeing right here on his Instagram post,
who
he
you-
is still a brown belt.
Okay, then I'm wrong about that. So who do you think is in the finals here?
Oh, you're making.
Or sorry, who's in the who is in the how do the quarterfinal matches go then?
I think we're gonna see Shane versus Matheus Gabriel
I think that's
in a
reasonable.
rematch of the Pans. I have all this stuff like
I
I'm not
don't
looking at it.
recall what it was.
Where he beat him,
Yep.
but yeah, like Shane didn't even place. Did he compete at Worlds?
He had
Or-
appendicitis.
That's right.
That's what it was.
That's right. But at Pans, he lost to him in the finals. That's what it was.
Okay.
I think it's Shane versus Matheus, and it's going to be like a toss-up on that one. And then you have Jones versus Lutes.
You think
And
Lutes gets by him?
that's like the one where I think it's a toss-up, that match. I don't know exactly who's going to win. Inseong is also on the quintet team. Like the Korean top team.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
He's and Wanky Che's on there too.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's in 2 weeks from now.
I'm going to say it's going to be Shane versus Levi, with Shane taking it.
You think Shane takes 76?
Yeah.
I called it last time and I was incorrect
Yeah.
about it because Alves took it, but like I think in the rule set, Shane just like the way he structures his game and the way he uses the lapels,
Look up
and
his
the way
most
he ties
recent
guys
Instagram
up.
post about his double lasso into that armbar. Dude, it's a work of art.
Yeah. So
Let's go to the 100-kilogram one.
under 100-kilogram division. So Tim Spriggs versus Meregali. I think that's a extremely stylistically tough match for Tim to go through, especially in the gi. I think Meregali.
Spriggs puts on a heavy pace.
Yes.
When it comes to his matches, but Meregali I just think is like the next gear up. Like I can't.
I will almost never pick against Meregali in the gi.
I mean, he's this year's world champion.
Right. And like dominantly. So
Yeah.
no, he's not world champion.
Yeah, he is.
When did Keenan beat him?
That was in the absolutes.
Oh, was that okay? I don't know why I had
he
that.
beat Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. I remember that now. I had that.
Finals.
I had that switch for some reason. Okay, so Meregali probably takes that one. Then we have Claudio Calasans and Erberth Santos. We could get the Erberth rematch here with Meregali from Copa Podia from 2000.
Yo, he's been talking
5
mad
because they were supposed to fight at Fight to Win.
No, but they were talking mad shit, and Erberth keeps posting stuff of when Erberth beat Meregali when Meregali was a brown belt. I'm like, dog, I hope you back that shit up the way you're like, you're talking mad shit.
And Meregali's come back with him too, and being like, I was a brown belt, my game's different now, I'm better now, I'm way better than I was. And I'm like, he Connor's not fucking lying, like he's way better than he was.
He's angry as fuck at him.
Yeah.
So, but that depends on which Erberth shows up.
Yeah.
If Claudio starts to get a beat on him and he just like gives up,
Then we got Calasans versus Meregali.
which would automatically just go to Meregali. Meregali would overwhelm.
So
Calasans.
Meregali is probably taking this. Meregali is probably taking this side of the bracket. Even if the matchup, I think the matchup
Yes.
with Erberth is tough. Like I think
Yes.
Meregali, he's tough to beat. So we got Duarte versus Lowe. Rematch.
Lowe needs to change something, or Duarte will beat him again.
Mm-hmm.
Lowe needs to be a little bit more like weary of the positions, and he needs to get to like those good positions quick and try to actually finish. Because Lowe does not have a high finish rate.
No,
He needs to finish.
He's a positional guy.
And when it comes to Rodolfo and Anderson Muniz, didn't he win the last 100-kilogram thing, and that's why he's on this? I want to say he
think
did, or he
so.
won this spot on it.
I think so.
I don't want to bet against Rodolfo.
We haven't
It's hard,
seen
like,
enough of him in the
unless
last.
your name is Buchecha, like he doesn't lose to a lot of people.
Dude, he beat Muhammad Ali at Black Belt CBD in 2018, having not like been in the gi in like 5 years. He came and like beat Muhammad Ali like relatively convincingly, who was the current IBJJF
At the
world
time,
champion
yeah.
at the weight. So it's just like it's just a weird like thing. I can't really like I have not seen Rodolfo compete enough. He beat Kit Dale and Ali in 2018 in the gi, and other than that, we've seen him in the UFC, and that's it. So it's like he's this weird X factor, but Muniz is really good. So it's like I almost don't have enough data on there to pick, but he has such a history of like dominance and looking so good. I kind of want to go with Rodolfo here.
And then I'd love to actually see Kainan, or I know you guys were having this.
Kanan or
discussion.
Kainan.
Kainan.
I spoke to him, and he was like, either one's fine.
Okay, as long as
He's like, Americans say it this way, Brazilians say it this way. And basically it was like, you say whatever you're going to say, Maine, and like, it works. I was like, thank you, Kanan Duarte.
like-
Nah, he was super
Gringos.
pleasant. We also caught him at Fight to Win as he was like exiting the venue. Like literally, Emil almost had to like run out and get him, and he was like,
Wait.
"I'll do an interview."
Wait.
That's kind of what it was, but he still gave us the interview, so I really
I would
appreciate
love
that.
to see Kainan versus
Rodolfo. Yeah, I
Would
think
love to see
think
it.
that's out of the bracket. I think we're gonna get either Rodolfo and Kainan versus Meregali.
I want to say we're gonna get Meregali versus Kainan.
I kind of think the same thing. Have these guys faced each other before?
I don't know.
We should know.
I don't know.
So I think
I have no idea.
I have a feeling that is how it's gonna go. What weight is Kainan offhand? Do you know?
He is
He's one-
heavyweight as opposed to Meregali being super
Okay,
heavyweight.
Meregali is one weight class up.
Yes.
But again, this is all just 100 kilograms and under, so it doesn't really matter as long as you can make that weight. There's really no issue. I think it'd be really interesting to see how Kainan deals
The
with
Brasileiros, and he
yes,
beat him at that, and
Meregali beat him, right?
I think he beat him at World Series of Grappling at the beginning of this year.
Was that
else?
last year? Because I
No,
think
January.
Okay,
It might have been at the end of last year.
For some
and they
reason, I
just
feel like
uploaded
Duarte
it.
was still a brown belt when that matchup happened.
Possibly. I don't
think
know.
it was brown belt versus black belt there. Again, this matchup would not surprise me. I think it's a really tough matchup for Duarte, but he does have the tools to get it done. But I almost never. I don't want to bet against Meregali in the gi. Like Meregali in the gi is just like another. He's an outlier. He's an outlier.
My safe bet is saying Meregali takes the 100 kilograms and $100,000.
Yeah, 100.
I think this is legitimately the biggest payout of any jiu-jitsu event. Like as a prize.
I think so.
Just the listed prize.
Yeah, as the listed prize. I don't know what other guys paid.
We've literally talked for like 20 minutes. Let's talk about other things too in our preview section here.
This is a great event. Looking forward to it. Guys are getting paid in a big way. It is only hitters, as they say in some other sports. Looking forward to it, Josh. Anything else you want to add for Spyder? Definitely tune in. Definitely worth your time. This will be one of the highest level jiu-jitsu events that you'll see.
It's on Friday, technically. Don't forget, it's on Friday.
Korean time. Yeah.
10 p.m. Eastern time, so 7 p.m. West Coast time. Figure it out where you are. If you're ahead of us, it's a few more hours ahead. If you're behind us, it's a few hours behind. I don't know. You want to get right into GrappleFest then, since that's in the morning?
So let's get into GrappleFest.
Number 7.
GrappleFest
11 a.m. Saturday. Main evented. Craig Jones versus Adam Wardzinski.
This is a fun matchup.
Craig has beaten Wardzinski, like 3 or 4 times now, though?
I think 3.
Yeah, but did he beat him at this ADCC?
I think he subbed him.
Okay, because I was going to say, has he run into that sick mustache and mop of a haircut? Because that's a pretty sweet, accoutrement he has on his face.
Accoutrement.
And it's for the under 100 kilogram title. I think super stokered on that one.
I think Craig has that. I think Craig subbed Arges for that title.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I think he got Arges' back last time he was there, and then he subbed him with a rear naked choke, and it was super impressive. I think, honestly, this is Craig Jones' to lose. I think Craig just has looked really, really good. In the GrappleFest rules, that long format, he has a lot of time to work. I think Wardzinski's going to pull, but Jones' passing has looked really good here. If he decides to wrestle with Craig, I think Craig may even have the edge in wrestling nowadays. Wardzinski's dangerous from the butterfly guard and plays really well, but Jones with that Z shield, he has the right counters. The entries off the butterfly guard are really good for Jones and favor him in the leg lock battle. It wouldn't surprise me to see Jones getting a leg lock here or taking a decision. That's how I see it going. What do you think, Josh?
I want to say submission, honestly.
You think legs? You think top end or bottom end?
Via heel hook.
Via heel hook. Next match. This is actually a super awesome matchup.
Dude, Dante Leon versus Marcos Tinoco? What?
That's actually awesome.
Dude, they are both super aggressive.
Is this gi or no gi? Do you know?
I'm going to assume it's no gi.
Okay. I know Tinoco does both pretty frequently. We see Tinoco. But Leon we primarily see
him a lot in no gi.
But so I know he still does do the gi. I just don't know if I'm pretty sure.
Dude, that's just going to be you have to watch it. That's going to be a fire matchup.
Dude, with how good Leon has looked recently in ADCC, getting the Pre's back.
Just both of them being in great positional guys, great at attacking. It's going to be they both move forward. Mm-hmm. They're submission hungry. It's going to be really exciting to watch the match. Yeah. And also what's going to be really exciting is the Rotolo twins competing.
On the same card.
On the same card. Where you have Ty, who just came off that Wagner
Different
match.
Weights, though, which I think is
by
funny.
5 pounds.
Still, they're not the same weight.
Oh, by 3 kilos or
2.2 pounds, Josh.
6.6 pounds.
Yeah. It's the multiplier.
Yes.
So we have Ty Rotolo just coming off his victory over Wagner Hosch at Fight to Win. The slower matchup, but again, gets it via that triangle attempt there versus Thomas Halpin. Halpin's a really, really well-known UK guy. This is a tough matchup for Halpin, I honestly think.
We don't know that yet, though. That's the thing. Yes, Ty has looked good in specific rule sets. We don't know how he's going to look still. I'm not on the fence about him. I think he's an amazing competitor, amazing
But there's still a lot of unknowns to go through.
There's a lot of unknowns. And I'm interested to see Cade and see if he is he's stepping out onto the into the limelight now on these big cards. It's interesting to see if he will be doing the same thing. Dude, they're both
I think
monsters.
the last time we covered Cade was the West Coast Trials. I don't think we've covered anything else that he's been on since then.
Did Cade do it? I thought it was Ty that did it.
I thought it was both.
I can't remember.
Now
Dude,
you
it's going
making me
back.
second guess.
Yeah.
I think it was both of them. Yeah, I think both of them did it.
Anyway, like it'll be interesting to see
And
both of them.
Cade is taking on Jeremy Skinner.
Yes.
From Absolute MMA.
Then we have Elvira Karpinen versus Nina Navid for the under 65 kilo belt. Why do I always think Elvira is like way bigger than she is?
I do the same thing, by the way.
Where I just think she's like in the above 60 kilogram weight class.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I do it every time too, by the way. So I was like, I always want to put her like right where Levy is, but she's just like not the same size person. So that'll be also a really fun matchup. I think Karpinen has looked really good recently versus I think she beat Patty Fontes by heel hook. We've seen her she got third place I think at ADCC. I think because Bianca got the arm broken and couldn't compete, so she was supposed to have that match, and she got the walk over for third place there. Karpinen looks really good. Karpenen's really hard to beat. So this would be another fun matchup.
One of the matches that Maine told me about that's not technically listed on here, Abby O'Toole versus Mandy McCann. He was like, hey, guess who's on these cards? And I'm like, and he sent it to me, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So, you have Abby O'Toole, a.k.a. Armbar Queen, trying to armbar Mandy McCann, who is, what is her name?
Meatbag. Molly Meatbag. She's a UFC prospect. It's looked really good, honestly.
Why do you keep calling her Molly Meatbag?
Is that not her name? That's
her name is Mandy, isn't it?
Mandy Meatbag? You should know her as Meatbag. All right.
The weirdest nickname. And she's an up-and-coming MMA fighter.
That's my understanding. And it's like, I think I watch me have the wrong person here in my head. But like, this is super exciting. She's looked really good. I think she's on the fast track for a title shot, in the next couple of years through the promotion. So it would be really exciting. Should be a lot of fun. Also on this card, we have Jason Rao versus Bradley Hill. We just saw Rao this last week at the BJJ Fanatics. He looked really good.
You are right.
Yep.
My apologies. Her name is Molly McCann. I don't know why I kept saying it was Mandy.
I'm not sure either, Josh, but I was going to roll with it because I was like, hey, you wrote stuff down. But
no, like you sent it
I
to me.
watch probably a lot more UFC than you do.
You do.
Yeah. I still try to keep up with that sport as well as jiu-jitsu. Jason Rao versus Bradley Hill. I think this is a really tough matchup for Hill. We've seen Hill before, but Rao has looked really, really good.
Meatball, not meatbag.
What'd I say?
Meatbag.
I'm thinking of Bender, not. Okay, meatball. This is running long. I think Jason Rao takes it via heel hook. Bunch of really great undercard matches for GrappleFest. GrappleFest is always great because it runs at like midday. Starts at 11 a.m. I always love the midday cards out of the UK. They have a really cool venue. Looking forward to it. Should be a great event. So on to our preview of Fight to Win 132 in Honolulu, Hawaii, the Aloha State, I think. This event is main evented by Garry Tonon versus Davi Ramos.
Holy shit.
This is a really great matchup.
This is amazing matchup. 2015 ADCC champion Davi Ramos.
I'm looking at the mats. Yeah, I think it's 15. It wasn't 13. It wasn't China. It was Sao Paulo, wasn't it? I don't think it was the China one.
I don't even know.
But both these dudes bring a pace. Davi Ramos, we know him for jumping over and armbarring.
2015.
Was 15?
Yep.
Sao Paulo?
That was China, wasn't it?
China was 13, I think. Was it UK?
No, UK was before that.
UK was 15.
No, it wasn't.
13. 7.
11?
11? I think 11. Liverpool. Not really relevant to this conversation, Josh. It
is Brazil. You are correct.
Okay.
You are correct. It was Brazil.
All right.
I was just going in to make sure. I was like, look, I'll backtrack and we'll cover some of our mistakes.
So what do you think? How do you think this plays out? We've seen Tonon look really, really good recently at ADCC versus Canuto.
Almost fighting.
Yes.
Most recently. Mm-hmm. But so is Garry.
Yep.
Like, he came back into grappling really for ADCC. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Davi does some wild shit.
So does Tonon.
Yeah, so I think this will be a great match, honestly.
I feel like both these guys will push the pace and like be looking to make it exciting because both these guys feed and scrambles and do really, really well in scramble matchups.
Yes.
And so I think both those guys will play each other. Garry just put a DVD out of how to get out of submissions and counter submissions. So it'll be really interesting to see if he's basically trying to pimp his DVD or if he's really trying to like be the active and be like the,
just
the
keeping it
aggressor
up
here.
and going.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. This is a really, really exciting main event matchup. Also on the card,
We have Michael Fowler, we have Michael Lira Jr., Halen Gracie, and a whole bunch of other people. Not every single fight poster is out, and the exact listing for every single matchup is not up just yet.
Yeah.
As of Sunday, the 17th of November. So watch it come out tomorrow.
usually. Yep. As it goes.
Because that's the way it works with us.
Yep.
But there's, those Islanders.
Dude, the Hawaii cards,
they scrap.
yeah.
Like, so I'm
super happy
really
Fight to
looking-
Win's going back to Hawaii
Yes.
because it gives a chance to showcase a lot of the Hawaiian talent and stuff that we just don't get to see as much of. So it'll be really cool. It does happen very late our time.
10 p.m. Eastern.
Start time. So,
That bad boy's going till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, that may be a replay one for us.
But it'll be a good card. Really excited to see it and to have, Seth, you're going to get a great quote out of him at a certain point, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or whatever. He's going to say something that's going to be awesome.
So that does it for Fight to Win 132 in Hawaii. So on to our preview of the Grappling Idiots event. This is this is Matt Kaplan's event.
Yes.
I did an interview with him that'll be coming out basically if you listen to this section of the show. As soon as this segment ends, I'm going to cut that interview up and put it there. Matt Kaplan has some really interesting kind of thoughts on the rule set. I'm actually super excited for the rule set.
It's an interesting rule set. I was reading over it and I was like, this will be interesting to see. It's very like sort of ADCC.
It's kind of like a mix of the points, a
Yes.
mix of the ADCC. Like I like the way
some overtime.
Yeah, I like where he's going with it. Because like it seems like a rule set that'll foster action, and in him talking to us and him talking on the Grappling Union podcast, which is a much longer form show, he talked about like his rationale behind like why he decided to do certain rules, why he had decided to do certain matchups. So I'll let kind of that speak for itself at the end of this segment. Let's talk about the 8-man, 170-pound bracket. This looks a little different than I thought it was going to look last week when you were looking at it initially, since this weekend's BJJ Fanatics tournament and for the Finishers tournament.
William Tackett, Kyle Lynch, Felipe Silva, Nick Ronan, Athos Miranda, Aaron Harris, Dylan Faldudo, and Andrew Cockle. And honestly, after this past weekend, this is Tackett's to lose. Like Ronan's really good, Silva's really like these guys.
Aaron Harris is really good.
None
too.
of them are slouches, but man, Tackett was just so.
I think
impressive.
Aaron Harris is the sub spectrum champion, and he's the guy that fought David Brennan at Atlantic City.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
So there's a couple dudes in this. We've seen Cockle like
We've seen,
main event before.
I think, everybody on this card already.
Yeah, and most
Again,
of these guys
we need to make our weird like 6 degrees
we
of
do.
Kevin
Well,
Bacon.
most of these guys we've seen actually like win tournaments like this too, which
Yes.
is really interesting. But dude, it's really hard to bet against Tackett after this last week. But again,
Yes.
dudes like Aaron Harris subbing his way at the finals of Sub Spectrum and like looking really good and like undercards for Kasai and other events. And like we've seen Cockle,
Cockle.
on
everything.
everything, and it's Nick Ronan.
On everything.
On everything. Like, he was my pick for who I thought was going to win the finishers. This is a toss-up bracket. This is actually I'm actually really excited for this because this is what I would term as, like, good matchmaking, where you're like, who takes this? Like, I don't know, man. But just with how good Tackett looked, it'd be really... I'm excited to see how it brackets because we don't have the brackets yet. So I'm super excited for it. Also on this event, there's a bunch of super fights.
Keith Krikorian, John Battle, Emil Fisher, Andrew Tackett. That's just naming a few of them. There is, as of right now, and I know it might not be completely finished. There might be more, but
I don't think
there's 14 super fights.
Yeah, I don't think he was adding many more. I think he was going to add like one more when we recorded. If not, there was like one change that had been made because Nick Ronan was now on Fight to Win in Hawaii. So Nick Ronan is actually out of the 70-pound bracket because he's in Fight to Win in Hawaii. There's a cool matchup on this, actually, a rubber matchup between Keith Krikorian and Daniel Myra that I'm really excited for. They're 1-1 right now. I spoke to Daniel Myra back in Fight to Win Philly, and he talked about the matchup, like kind of announced, and I kind of got his thoughts on that matchup and like him and Keith, and I actually talked to Keith a little bit previously about this matchup as well. So I'm really excited to see how these two guys match up again for the rubber match.
Oh, I forgot this was going to be a matchup too. Andrew Tackett versus Matt Drury.
Oh yeah, we've covered Drury. You actually done commentary for Drury.
Yes.
On SCGC.
That'll be an interesting matchup. Like, there's a lot of really, really like interesting matchups on here.
This is a really good card. Emil Fisher's on the card as well. He just defended his Fight to Win Masters brown belt title.
AJ Deshani. We've covered him a bunch.
Yep. John Battle, new black belt. We've covered Battle a bunch of stuff. Anything in the area, Battle's been on. And now that he's black belt, like, I'm like super excited to see like what he's gonna do. This is gonna be a really fun card. I think it's a pay-per-view for, I think it's like $5 or $6. There are a bunch of matches here that are worth $1. It's worth your money. Again, and he's producing it after the fact, so it's gonna come out like a day or two after the event. Like, this is the kind of pay-per-view that you want to kind of support because it's cheap. It has really good matchups that will be a lot of fun with a new rule set that should be entertaining. And I am really looking forward to it. You can find more about it on the Grappling Idiots Instagram.
GrapplingIdiots.com.
Yeah, I think that's what the pay-per-view is going to be. I think it's going to be through Vimeo, so it's like a reputable like pay-per-view provider as well, which I like. It's not some sketch
Let's see
site.
if the tickets are...
And you can also go live as well. So I'm super looking forward to it. Basically, right now, there's going to be the interview that I did with...
Matt Kaplan?
Matt Kaplan.
Man, your brain is goofed.
Having a rough day, man. So you can tune into that right now. So how you doing? We're here with Matt Kaplan. Matt, you are running an event called the Grappling Idiots coming up out of New York, and I want to talk to you. You gave a really cool interview with the Grappling Rewind podcast where you talked about your rule set and a bunch of other pieces for the event, and I want to get a chance to talk to you about basically the same thing and what you're doing. So when is your event?
November 23rd, so that's next Saturday. 9 days away.
Yep. We're going to recording this. This will drop on like that Tuesday.
Okay, so Saturday the 23rd, which will be the Saturday of that week.
Yeah.
We're doing it on the border of Brooklyn and Queens. Technically, it's Ridgewood, but it's like 2 blocks of the end of Williamsburg. It's actually by the Renzo Gracie Fight Academy, and I think the Hive is over there. There's another gym that Gabe runs. So there's a couple. And Master Skyer's over there too, actually. So there's actually a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms in that area.
Sweet. So let's talk about your rule set because you have a really interesting rule set. Just kind of go through what the rules are for the event and then kind of how you came to come up with that rule set.
Okay. Actually, wait, sorry. It's the dojo, not the Hive, before Gabe kills me.
Okay.
So I watch a lot of grappling. As I said on the Grapple Union podcast, me and Eddie Cummings kind of had a thing going for a while of who was watching more tape. And then when he realized I watched like really obscure Japanese pro wrestling and grappling and MMA, he was like, all right, bro, you win.
I concede.
Yes, I concede because he was not willing to watch like 1918 catch wrestling. I'm like, bro, what if there's a cool move we got to pull out, right? So I watch a lot of tape, and I want to say 98%, and I love grappling. 98% of the time, I am bored out of my mind. Just bored out of my mind. You can start naming cards where you're like, there were maybe 4 or 5 good matches out of 40 matches. And sometimes it's all brown and black belts, or you watch Nogi Pans, Worlds, Pans, and it's really bad. And it's not the grappler's fault because they're there to win. It's like when people say in MMA, "Oh, he won a decision." I'm like, "Well, fuck you. What do you mean he won? He won. He won. He did. Those are the rules."
The goal is to win. You're trying to win within the rule set. Whatever you have to do, it's not the grappler's job on like those kind of events to be exciting. It's their job to win.
No, you gonna come pay my bills because I didn't win because I was trying to submit everyone? Does everyone go by Barrett Yoshida's gym and give him $20 every day and say thanks for being exciting? No, they don't do that. You know what he would love to have? An ADCC gold medal though, but because he tries to actually grapple and submit people, guys hold him down and like Justin Rader and them, and it's a bore fest. So I wanted to do a show. I was going to do one a few years ago, but some other people told me they were doing one and just to sit it out. And of course they never did because people never do what they say they're going to do. So now seemed like the good time to do it. My gym has been open almost 2 years. I made back my initial investment. So to those of you that think I have 2 students, just tell the IRS that. So I had extra cash laying around and I was like, well, we can do a show. I used to run professional wrestling shows. I did music shows for a while. The grappling is very similar to running a pro wrestling show, the way to set things up. And I said, I don't want to do something where I'm bored out of my mind. I was cornering Kalstein at EBI. I literally, before his semifinals match, I was standing next to him. You know Mona, Bald Strong Mona. She's like 14.
Yep.
I was standing next to her dad, and them. They had the VIP, and he got me some free food and shit. We were eating, and I'm like standing on the chair like this, like literally sleeping at EBI because I was just like, how much more grappling do we have? This is horrible. So I wanted to have a rule set that's exciting. And I didn't want a show that goes more than like 3.5, 4 hours. That's the pro wrestling rule. When you get into 4 hour, 5 or something, was it like Fight to Win starts at 6 and ends at like 1 a.m. sometimes? I'm good, bro. Like I don't want to have sex for 7 hours. Why am I watching grappling for 7 hours? Like what are we doing? So the first thing I had to decide was, am I going to do points or no points? And I'll tell you, if I just cared about making the key. It's time limit draw. That's
Hold
what
up.
Rise
Say
does.
that we cut out for a second. We cut out for a second. Let's do it one more time.
Okay. So if I wanted to make the competitors happy and their friends and family happy, I would do a time limit match, tap or draw. That's what Rise does.
Yep.
And a lot of people that compete on that show were asking me, like, I wonder why Rise does that. I said, well, think about it. Either you win, you lose, or you draw. Most matches go to a draw. So you don't feel like a loser in front of your friends and family. And you know, if there's like a minute and a half left and the guy's in mount, maybe you just do nothing and shut down and hey, you didn't lose. So it's like that's why they do that. They do that on the MMA cards too. So I think that's stupid. You know, if you're going to do a time limit, I guess do judges. But then if you're going to do judges, just have a point system then, I guess, you know, like, I think there are advantages to having judges over a point system at times, but a majority of the time, if there was some kind of serious criteria, the judges would have picked that person anyway. You know what I mean? And then when it's a split decision, it's like, who gives a shit? Or people are just not happy. So I wanted to do points. I don't like the IBJJF points. I think they give too many points for some things. Like, I don't like giving 4 points for anything. Let's say I go to do a lat throw on you and you fall in mount, you've just scored 6 points. I'm not going to get those 6 points back. It's not going to happen.
Right.
You're going to hold me and so a lot of that. So I like the ADCC points. The only thing I don't like about the ADCC points in general is if you get a clean sweep or a clean takedown, I think it should be worth 5 points, not 4.
Okay, so basically you get the points for the guard pass as opposed to just getting points for an extra 2 points for doing it.
So I asked, because I'm friendly with some of the ADCC guys that work with them, and I asked 2 of them this, and they both said this. The same reason was mount's only worth 2 points. So they were like, what if the guy does a takedown into mount? We can't give 5. That'd be weird because mount itself is only worth 4. I said, so what if he falls inside control? They're like, stop asking questions. Like, all right. And their thing was too, they're like, we also like giving small amount of points to encourage people to keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, you can never build up a huge differential unless you've really earned it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just like I want to match it. I was a white belt. That was the first time I ever competed in the gi. I did like 2 gi classes and competed. I won like 22 to like 2, and everyone was excited. I said, nah, dude, I blew that guy out of the water. Why didn't I submit him? Like, if I'm racking up so many points on you, unless you're just going to shell up, like, yeah, you should have finished him. Like, everyone's like, oh, he won by 40 points. I'm like, you know what that tells me? He doesn't know how to do a fucking submission with 40 points. Like, why? Why? So points was a thing. I like the ADCC points. But I wanted to give points for sub attempts. That's my only gripe with ADCC, that they don't, and they'll probably never change it, is they don't give points for submission attempts. And I think we should be doing everything we can to encourage submissions. Because that's the difference between us and freestyle wrestling, is we have submissions, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like if you show a jiu-jitsu match to someone, let's say there's no guard sitting. If you show a jiu-jitsu match to someone, they'll think it's just kind of like wrestling with subs, you know?
Right.
When they sit on the floor, they're like, well, what is this? But so I think we should be encouraging the submissions. I don't think it's fair that like someone gets a takedown, the other guy has a triangle attempt, an armbar attempt, a heel hook attempt, and they lose. But the whole point of grappling, of jiu-jitsu, sambo, even judo, is to get the ippon, get the ultimate finish, to finish your opponent. Slam them through concrete in judo or strangle them.
Right.
So I'm giving 1 point for submission attempts. The way I'm reffing it and Mike Palladino's reffing it, I was going to have one of my brown belts do it, but he I haven't been happy with his reffing skills and training. So it's probably just going to be me and Mike. The way I said to Mike was, I said, when someone has like an arm bar, if their hands are locked and they're on top, it's not an arm bar attempt. The second their fingertips like slide apart, call it an arm bar attempt.
So you have specific criteria for like what you're going to constitute as a sub attempt. It's not like that kind of looks good. It's like hands
that's
let
what
go.
Kills me with Kasai. That kills me. Like that. What was what's his name from England? What's his name? Fish and chips over there. I met him at Finisher. He's a nice guy too. I'm breaking his balls. Oh my God, he was at the 35 Kasai. He lost to Meow in the semifinals. He was at EBI like 2 or 3 times from the UK.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I just can't come up with the name.
Oh my God.
This is when we usually pause the recording, we look it up, and then we jump back in.
Whatever. It's not super important. I have his face like in my head.
I'm watching this match in my head, and I can't come up with it.
Yeah. Oh my God. He went against Imanari at Polaris too.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a deep heel hook on Paulo, and he did not. I know you're googling it.
Yeah.
And he not get. He didn't get a point for the deep heel hook, and then he had a deep toe hold. He didn't get a point. But then when he had the heel hook, they gave Meow a toe hold. I was like, really? You're gonna give him a point for a toe hold, but not the guy doing a heel hook? The submission that can cripple him? Okay. And then when they both had toe holds, they didn't count his toe hold. It was the dumbest thing. I couldn't. I was like, it's whatever. So there has to
Ashley
be
Williams.
Ashley Williams. Right, Ash Williams, Army of Darkness.
Yes.
Ash Williams.
Yes.
There has to be. I think I said that to him too.
Specific criteria.
Yes, I think I said to him when I met. I was like, "Oh, Evil Dead." He had no clue what I was talking about. These young kids today. No, there has to be a serious criteria. So, like I said to Mike, I said, look, if they're in cross-side and the hands are locked, I said, don't give them a submission point. Otherwise, guys are going to do bullshit and like finagle ways to rack up points. I don't want that.
Do you have everything like written down, like specifically, like in like a rule book anywhere?
On the website has the rules. I wrote it down. So what's funny is one of my friends at ADCC was like, be as vague as possible. That way, if you have to finagle, I said, nah. I said, bro, I want it so even someone that doesn't know what jiu-jitsu doesn't know what grappling is, they go to the website, they read the rules, they know what's going on. Also, if something happens where we made a mistake, I want to be like, oh, you're right. That I don't want to deal with that. Like you know what I mean? Like when you watch football, there's no argument of I think that was a field goal. I don't know.
Right. Not like I mean, we are all like on the show, we watch any given week probably 3 to 6 different events with different rule sets. Like we've become rules connoisseurs over the years, and I always like when stuff's really laid out and I can actually go through and look and like, oh, exactly here. Like we might be a fan of the IBJJF system, but man, those dudes have a rule book like nobody's business.
So I remember when I started in 2009, the rules were in Portuguese, translated through Google Translate or Yahoo Translate. Yeah. Now they got the pictures. Because someone said to me, I don't think that's a knee reap. I said, you can't do a topside ankle lock. And I showed them the picture on the website, and they're like, oh. I said, you can't. It's a picture. Like, there's no argument.
Right.
Like, speak any language, it's a picture. Well, Fight to Win's like that, too. When Eddie had that match with William Woke.
Yep. I was at that match.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I made a status, and I said, this is why Eddie doesn't want to compete anymore. You know what I mean? Like, he's getting hit in the head. He's got concussion issues. Just like, it's a waste. And the referee who ref that match messaged me on Facebook. I didn't even realize I was friends with him. And I didn't know who the ref was. I didn't know his name. But, I have like 5,000 friends on Facebook. And he goes, hey, man, I don't know why I'm getting attacked as the ref. There's no rules. I'm like, what do you mean there's no rules? This Thunderdome? And he goes, no, they tell us if they start to fall off the stage, just kind of let them fix themselves and just kind of do a little push and hope it works out. Don't touch them or get involved. They're like, technically we can't disqualify them for anything. So like when he was kind of hitting them and kind of wasn't hitting them, it's not allowed, but we're not really allowed to say anything. I said, then you should comment that so people know that there needs to be like a change of the Fight to Win rules. Like, so they tell you backstage, if they die, they die. Like, come on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't get mad that people are like, what's going on? Why is this guy smacking Eddie, kicking Eddie? Why are they falling off the stage? And like, but you should be like, well, there's no rules against it. But again, that comes back to having a strict rule set. The only thing on the website I didn't like map out really well, I didn't map out what is or is not a submission attempt, because that would have been like a lot.
Just too many, every single position. This is not, this is the, okay.
You know what I mean? For a rear naked choke, I want to see 2 arms around the throat, or 1 arm around the throat, 1 arm on a hand. For a heel hook, I have to see the knee locked in and turned. If the feet are on the outside, it's just, it would literally be like thousands of movements.
Right. It's just like too much to codify for it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm going to tell the grapplers during the rules meeting, look, you guys are all mostly brown and black belts. You've been training forever. You know when you're doing bullshit and when you can legitimately hurt the other person. Right. Those are going to be my exact words in the rules meeting.
So we talk about some of the matchups. I know you have a lot of matchups that we're really excited about. What are the matchups that like you think people that are listening to our show should pay attention to?
See my brown belt that said it's probably not reffing comes in. I made a status, guys. Keep quiet when you walk in. He's like, making noise. What do you call it? I said it on both podcasts, and I'll say it now. I think John Battle and Chris Kurbis is going to be match of the night. I've trained with Chris a lot before he went to Unity, Creonch. I probably trained with him 6 years or so. Like he was one of my main training partners. It was like me, him, Eddie, and Calistine. We used to train all the time. Chris, I've watched Chris at a Grappling Industries in the Absolute, and Chris is my size. He competes at 154 with the gi on. Well, I'm a weight class lower than him, but like, we're about the same size. He did an Absolute. He broke his ribs, broke his rib in his weight class. He did the no gi Absolute in the no gi division. He like pulled the guy backwards. The guy fell on his rib cage. And he finished the match. He won. He got up, and I rubbed over his rib, and I was like, "Chris, your rib's out." Because he's a Marine. He goes, "Oh, I know it's out. I feel it when I can't breathe. I feel it. It hurts." And then he won the gi Absolute and his weight class in the gi with that.
So he's a tough dude.
Yes. Okay. I've never trained with Battle, but I've seen Battle for years.
Yeah, we've watched Battle. We've covered Battle a bunch on the show over the years with his various defenses of belts and like getting belts over the years.
Yeah, so Battle, and he's going to come in shape. They're going to go. So that match will either be a really, really quick submission or like 10 minutes of them trying to kill each other.
Sweet.
I like in my head, I could see that being match of the night. Now, in the 8-man tournament, depending how I do the brackets, it's going to be a thing. There's 3 matches I want to see, but I can't put the 3 of them on one side of the 8-man. There's no way I could justify 3 of the top 4 seats on the same side just to amuse myself. And they also can't have a round robin with each other.
Right.
But this is the difference of the fan and the promoter doing like the correct thing and doing the, hey, I want to see this match. I'm trying to think what else we got on the card. I just put up Drew Pruzone and Jacob Prussman. Jacob has done a lot of the local grappling industries, won the Absolutes. Drew's been a black belt since before I was training. The guy that just beat Brandon Vera at 1FC, Ong Lang Sang, I think's his name. Drew Pruzone, so one of his training partners Drew beat him years ago in MMA. Drew showed up drunk, smoking cigarettes outside, went into the building. I was like, he goes, just beat him up. I said, really? Drew's been training like 20 years. He's just one of those guys. Like he always comes in. He's been on like every event like I've ever watched. So that should be a really good match. Let's see what else. I just don't have it in front of me. Keith Kokorian is rematching Daniel Myra.
That's a rubber match.
Yes. So I said no rematches when I did this. And then Daniel beat Keith at the IBJJF Pans. I said, I'll do a rubber match because their first match was EBI rules. The second match was IBJJF. I said, let's do the hybrid and see what happens.
Cool. Both those guys are fun. Both those guys bring some action and pace. That's one of the first things that kicked me off of the card is I was talking to Keith probably a couple months ago, and he said, "Yeah, maybe on this card coming up." And I went, "What card?" And he goes, we'll figure it out."
Well, when I booked it, Keith was the first person I booked. He's such a nice, humble person, though. He was like, I'd love to be on the card. I said, yeah, bro, you're an ADCC veteran. Not a problem. We'll put you on the card. Oh, man, thanks a lot. Shucks. I was like, I feel like I'm talking to Morty from like Rick and Morty. Cause
he's a great dude. I love dealing with him for all this stuff. He's like he's super responsive, and it's like whenever I need information about his matches or something like that, he's always like super easy to work with, and it's great.
Dude, I remember he hit me up after he lost at ADCC. He goes, I suck, bro. Tequino like strangled me. And like he started listing all the people Tequino beat by decision at Kasai. I said, Keith, go back and rewatch that tournament. Tequino shoots a double leg in the first match and like blows his knee out. He goes, you're just saying that. I said, go watch it. I'll give you my login at Flow Grappling. If you go, he goes, no, I have a lot. He goes, oh, you're right. I feel a little bit better now. I don't completely suck. I was like, and he had Buchecha. He goes, man, Buchecha destroyed me. I said, dude, he's like 3 of you. He goes,
he's close.
I was like, what do you mean? That's not the point. But like, he's just, he works really hard.
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy.
He's a super fun guy to cover. So how can people actually watch your event? Like, you can either watch it live at the venue, or is there streaming? Is there video after the fact? How's that working out?
So I'm not doing live streaming. I decided not to do it early on. Every event I've ever watched live, they maybe have a couple of hundred views. And then, by the end of the week, it's like some of them are like 50, 60,000. Like even like finishers, they'll have maybe like 1,300 live. And then, 2-3 days later, it'll be 40, 50, 60,000. The On It gets like 40, 50, 60,000, but live, maybe 1,000 at best.
500 to 700 is usually what we see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's no reason for me to pay because it's a lot of money to live stream. It's a lot of extra expenses. Yeah. Even just video service that's going to do it. So there's no point because I'm only charging. I think it's going to be like the stream's going to be $5, and then with like the taxes or whatever, it's going to be like $5.99. If I were to do a live stream, it would have been close to like $10 just to cover the extra expenses. And I want to keep the stream as cheap as possible. One, because it's just another thing to pay for. I get it. And also, the cheaper it is, the more people will watch it. So I get it. And everyone's I'm gonna do it on Vimeo. It's gonna be on the website, grapplingidiots.com.
Okay.
There's gonna be a page for it. Like there's an event page now and a rules page and everything else. There'll be a page for past events. So you'll just go to that and you can click it on there. Every grappler is going to have a promo code. If you put their promo code in when you order it, they get a percentage of the stream.
Awesome.
So I'm paying them. They're getting a percent. And I was shocked. A lot of places don't even give percentages of ticket sales, which to me is crazy. I don't. So because their argument is you want to be on a prestigious card, then you should sell tickets. I'm like, well, if you want to buy me dinner so I can feed my prestigious intestines food, we can. So I'm paying them to show. I'm paying them percentages of that, and then of the streams. And some of the guys are traveling. Like I have William Tackett's coming from Houston.
Yep.
Emil Fisher is coming from the third circle of hell. So with them. Emil's like, bro, I might know it because he has a Rockfin and stuff. He has like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers on Rockfin, or 3,000 actually. He has a lot of subscribers on Rockfin. He goes, some of them may pay to watch my match. I said, well, yeah. I said because because it's only a $5 stream, so they're only getting like 50 cents a dollar, whatever it is. But that adds up real quick, right? Like if you're getting like 50 cents a stream and you sell 1,000 streams, that's $500. Right. So for the guys and girls that can push a lot of streams like for their friends at home, I want to pay them. I want to thank them. You're helping put money into the company, and I can tell you running the show in New York is very expensive. My expenses have hit like around $10,000 already, and I know there's still going to be more stuff to buy.
Sweet.
I could break this on your thing because this just happened. The Athletic Commission is now making the grappling events mandatory to cover. I called up the commission a few months ago, and they said, "Don't worry about it. We're not covering that stuff." And then I saw one of the MMA promoters hit me up and said, "Hey, the Rise event actually almost got canceled." I said, "What do you mean?" And they were like, the night before the event, the commission called them and said, "Hey, are you guys sanctioned?" And they're like, "No, it's jiu-jitsu." But Kasai had to get sanctioned last time too.
And that was a big debacle with all the blood testing and all the other stuff that went into that.
What I can tell you, what I had confirmed was somebody failed for hepatitis at Kasai. And then not the Gordon thing, like somebody
else.
Their medicals. Yes, they failed for hepatitis and or something else. I got and I asked, so I called the commission the other day, and because I was asking about all this stuff, they're covering the big events like Kasai. They rent the Hammerstein. That venue alone is like $130,000.
Right.
So the big events that have like the big professional events where everybody gets paid to show up and all that stuff, they're covering that. One, because the commission can make money, but also they're trying to like make it as legit as possible. And then once that guy failed his medicals, I get it, because now the guy I'm rolling with could have HIV. I don't know what's going on with the commission yet for my show. I don't think I qualify for big enough because they don't cover like the grappling industries and that stuff either.
Right.
It's like the high end. And like, there's 1,000 people or 1,200 people at Rise, and they're on the UFC Fight Pass and all that.
Right.
I think my venue caps out at 200 people.
Okay. Different to scale.
Yeah, it's a scale thing. But I've been telling everybody. I said, hey, last minute, I may have the commission down, and dealing with all that. But everyone I spoke to said, if in the future we have to start doing, because Rise obviously didn't have a blood test in 24 hours notice.
Right.
But everyone was like, look, in the future, if we have to do that, I know it's like $50, $100, but if there's people on these shows failing for things, then I guess we should just eat the money and not roll with somebody that potentially could give me AIDS. I said, yeah, I mean, right. That's a real concern, but that's a thing in jiu-jitsu now. That's also why I heard Kasai hasn't been back to New York. They don't want to pay for the commission. Yeah.
Interesting.
Or do the blood work. I think they were still trying to put that guy on their Atlantic City card, and someone was like, hey, guys, what are we doing?
Interesting.
Yeah, don't get me started.
All right, Matt. Well, hey, before I get you started too much, I really appreciate your time. Thanks a lot for the interview. I'm super looking forward to your card. Looking forward to it. You think the event will be up in the next day or two after, because you're doing the post?
It's post-production, yeah. So the show is probably going to run 7 to 11-ish, give or take. Then they're doing a rave in that building, 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I got to get all my stuff out of there, more or less. So I'm going to have to take the mats out and that stuff. So I'll probably won't get home till 2 a.m. And then I usually only sleep 4 or 5 hours. And then I'll start editing it that morning. Because if you go to my YouTube page, a lot of highlight videos for some of my former teammates and some of my MMA stuff and all that, the pro wrestling. I've done editing forever. I used to do pro wrestling DVDs and things like that for shows. So I'm going to start the editing on it. If you saw the Gordon Keenan highlight from Grappling Industries, I did that.
Okay.
I'm going to start doing that Sunday morning. I'm hoping to have it done by Sunday night.
Sweet.
It's going to be, it's only 2 cameras, so it shouldn't take too long. Then I got to just, edit the audio track over it and all that. Jay Ragabuto's doing the commentary.
Oh, it's awesome. Big fan of Jay.
Yeah, I was trying to get Josh on it, but he's doing Polaris.
Josh Palmer?
Yes.
Yeah.
He said his wife told him if he does 3 shows in 1 month. So now I'm just trolling him online saying we're going to do Jay versus Josh in a match, and he has no choice. He has to do it.
That would be, I'd watch that match. They train together, but they're both 2 of my favorite commentators to listen to. So if you can get them on the same mic.
Josh is a little bigger than me, and Jay is 4 of me. Jay will sit on Josh, and that will be the end of Josh.
I watch it.
I mean, for an actual match, though. And I won't stop it no matter what happens, even if he's tapping him. Hey, buddy, you can't strike. What are you doing? Just let it go on.
That's awesome. All right, well, Matt, hey, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And that was it. So that does it for this week's show. So, Josh, I love having you on the show because
I'm so long-winded.
Literally less than 1 minute into the episode, we had to, stop. And I had it's you can't say that. And we had to cut it and then basically restart the episode. And he's like, okay, I'll do
No. I totally agreed. It was it could be, it was not, the way I said it was not meant in any way bad, but it could be construed in the wrong way. And
I just was he was where'd you stop? We're just going to redo.
I was stop. Let's redo that.
So as always, with Josh and the editing, it's I always go through and go, okay, what do I have to cut that Josh said this week? But honestly, this week, I think for the first time, we just restarted. We did it at the beginning, got it out of the way. I think everything else is going to stay in.
I want you to know that today, this entire podcast, I've cussed 3 times.
That's good. We're making
That's it.
Emil's making up for you.
That is
Trust me.
it. Man, I was I'm going to be on my P's and Q's today, and a couple of them slipped out, but you know what? It was worth it.
Yeah. Dude, it was great. I got to train with you this morning. It was awesome. We haven't trained together in probably,
almost a year?
Probably since I was injured.
Yeah.
I think we've rolled once since I was injured, and then you were we just moved around. I think we moved around a little bit. Probably.
Possibly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was cool. I haven't trained with you much since you've gotten black belt, and so it's
Well, when you break your spine, I think that's actually the last time that you rolled with me was at my promotion. Because then your back really started to act up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not great.
Nope.
No bueno. Actually,
Nope.
I don't think I rolled at that promotion. I think I was so injured I didn't roll at that promotion.
I think you did because... Yeah, you did, because then I stole your Santa Claus hat and I stuck it down my pants.
As tradition.
That is tradition.
Every
that
year.
I
It's
put
the holiday hat.
He wears a Santa Claus hat.
Holiday hat?
saying it's not the Jews don't wear those.
It's a holiday hat.
My
Josh.
people do not wear that hat.
We're getting close, man. It's December rolls around. The holiday hat comes out. We got 2 weeks till the holiday hat comes out.
God.
And every year Rachel hides them from me. And every year December 1st I go, where are my holiday hats? And she goes, they're in the attic and the side. You gotta go find them. I'm like, okay.
And then I try to steal them and put them in my pants.
It's just tradition.
And
Josh.
it's slowly progressed to where like just the rim of the hat was in my waistband, to the whole hat being in my pants, not in my underwear, to this past year it going just into my underwear. And
See, this is stuff that gets cut, man.
no, it doesn't. Like, this is the funny stuff. This guy, no joke, if you go through his posting history, every December, anytime he's doing jiu-jitsu, he's wearing this hat. And we all hate it. And I guarantee you, once December 1st rolls around, especially since we're doing video now, that this idiot, every episode in December, he's going to have that hat on.
It honestly is kind of cool, though, as you can tell immediately when a picture was taken. Because you see like a big giant group photo and my dumbass in the back with like a little hat. And you're like,
Looking like a weird elf.
it's like, okay, holiday hat. I'm a little person anyway. It's great. So,
Good
anything else,
Lord.
Josh?
No,
I have to go watch Rick and Morty.
I do have to go watch Rick and Morty. Will I make it home in time? I have 17 minutes. Maybe.
Believe in yourself. All right. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine Joe, with my co-host,
Josh.
and we are the Grappling Rewind. We'll see you on the mats. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Google Plus,
Until that shuts down.
we have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
Let us know.
reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.